What's up, John? I saw your question about like the the resizing thing on the midterm.
Oh yeah, what's
Uh
up?
yeah, I also because it seems like the practice midterm was like, it's just double. And so that's what I went off of. But it seems like going over and looking at the LOCF module again, it's talking about like, oh, they never use spare capacity except for when they set the initial size. And I don't know if it's like intended to be that way or if it's just like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think I
it's
just
kind of
like
weird.
I don't know if I think I just followed it too closely because like the one that they have on there is like it's minimum 16 above what the size is
Yeah,
for
but
when they
then
when they when
in
they call reset reserve or whatever.
yeah, but then in resize, I guess it's just 2K plus one or 2N plus one or whatever, like the new size is.
Yeah, but I think the
So
question was
I don't know.
like like when you like something about reserve, not resize, I don't think.
Oh yeah, because then it does call site capacity. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean he probably didn't. He probably just intended it to be like, oh, you double it, add one every time. And then,
Yeah.
but then I just like I think I just like read it too many times, so I was like, oh wait, we gotta like add 16, or I mean if you double 5, it's 11 plus 1 is 11. Which is like not 16 bigger than 5, so we're gonna increase
Yeah.
it to 21. But anyways, I just messaged him, he gave me the point back, so it's cool.
Okay. Okay, for sure.
Hey guys, I just stopped by to say hi. And by the way, you guys, none of you have your camera on usually if I don't turn up. Yeah, it's much better. It's better. Otherwise, it's very boring to to watch a bunch of people, a bunch of squares talking about computer science, right? As it is, people think computer science is pretty boring when it's actually a very exciting field, I think. Anyway, so all right. So why aren't so there's a bunch of people not here? Okay, so in fact, the people that I wanted to talk to, they're not here because I'm actually very pleased to see that most of you guys are on the ball and getting things done regularly and consistently and moving forward. But a bunch of you, I noticed for this quest at the least, I've seen it before too, didn't start questing until about Saturday or Sunday. And then by Sunday midnight, these guys are just frantically just trying, midnight and past midnight, they're trying, and I can actually feel the frustration that they're probably feeling. I don't know, because I don't know, maybe I'm just old, too old for compared to you guys, and it's not my thing anymore. But is this kind of thing feel good to you guys? Like, feeling that I gotta get it done or I'm gonna be dead tomorrow morning, right? Because the reason I'm asking is because you could easily, for the exact same amount of work, right? It's you're not going to be working x plus 1 hours, or greater than x hours. If you're working x hours from Friday evening to Sunday evening to Monday early morning, and you are frustrated, you're not going to work any extra hours. All you're going to have to do is just move that to the front of the week. That's all. Okay. So just move it so that, and it has a huge number of benefits. I don't know if you've done these, the business courses where they kind of teach risk assessment and things like that, but you can actually find out the exact risk you are taking and the yield of that risk. Okay, what is the yield? The yield is that you're not making less work, you're not doing less work later, you're doing the exact same amount of work. So the only thing you're getting, the yield, is that you're able to do it later, meaning you don't have to do it earlier. So that's, if you put that in perspective. But in return for that, you're going to have to pay this enormous mental cost of the sword hanging over your head, saying, am I going to get it done before Monday morning or not? And in that state of mind, and not only that, if you have it waiting until the last minute, you won't be able to really enjoy the first part of the week, because that's going to come at the end of the week, right? So, but if you've done it already, then your Sunday could actually be free to just hang out with your BFF. Yeah. Because otherwise, even if your friends were free and everything, and you say, well, I got to go, I got to finish that because you can't really be with your friends either. So just get it done with sooner, and it has a positive effect that you'll already know how much work there is to be done, and then you'll be able to plan much better. At the end of the day, when you graduate, this is really what going to matter when deciding which of your ideas are business worthy and will actually sell into real products. Is actually getting a good nose for this thing, saying how can I plan for this? What are the different ways in which you can, right? So and good planning, because you may have a lot of good ideas, but a lot of good ideas, if you think that, well, it's a really good idea, maybe I'll work on it when I'm old and retired, when I don't have to do all those other things like pay my mortgage and shit like that. Now I'll have time to look at that. And then maybe, after that, you think, well, I never had a chance to work on that idea until now. I could have worked on it all my life. Yeah, like that. So you really, I don't know how we got started talking about that, but that's what I feel. Just get it over with sooner so that you can enjoy the rest of it, rather than saying, oh my gosh, I got to get it done at some point before. And it's no fun at all. And the reason I think is that, why I don't like that so much is that I can see a lot of you actually do finish these things if given enough time. Okay. And do finish these things sooner, have nice discussions, nice insights like John posted. Okay. All of those things, I see all of those really nice things, but those things won't happen if you do just start on Saturday or Sunday. And then your focus will be completely different. It's not to find any interesting patterns or new insights, but it's just to get past it so that you can get your trophies and move on. And that defeats the whole purpose of doing this class. You might as well do an easier section. There's so many easy sections of CS2C. Why enroll in this one? Yeah. And so if you want to really do well, and so I saw, yeah, Nimita and Divyani, and where's Ryan? Okay. So yeah, again, they all of these people have done quests before and done it properly and done things. But but when you pile it up and go to the end, you end up getting stressed, and you say that, I couldn't have got it done, right? Because if I'd started sooner, I would have finished it, right? And now you got a 75% penalty and all, right? Sometimes when you do that. So I think all of you guys, you've been regular. So I don't want this to slip for the rest of the quarter. And by the way, it's all not all negative. I actually wanted to start this with, basically just saying, well, the whole purpose of this meeting was to recognize Oliver and and Chris. I actually nominated both of them for the STEM award. Okay, so the STEM division gives out awards for all students. I think it's once a year maybe, right? Because the last time I remember doing it was 1 year ago. So and so I remember, and the reason was that I felt that they both completed all of the quests, and they've both stuck around, and they're helping each other, helping all of you guys, and doing other interesting stuff too that we're all doing, right? So I think I have all of your votes if I'd asked, saying, well, those two people. So I nominated them, but unfortunately the division said, they can only pay for one. So and then Chris just said, Oliver has been helping me so much that he deserves the award more than I do, so give it to him. And so I ended up nominating Oliver. So please go to the STEM Awards nomination if possible. I think it'll take place in one of those fancy lecture rooms in the PISA building. Okay, so go there. I'll be remotely present. Right? I'll come into the meeting via Zoom. I hope. Okay? And you'll get a and for Chris, what we'll do is that after the final exam, for the ones who are so inclined, I'm happy to pay for a pizza night out. Okay, after the final in Fremont. Well, it's got to be within walking distance, like within 5 miles of where I live. Okay, and well, it'll be late. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll find a time for. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so yeah, I can buy all of you guys pizza, food for if you're interested. right? So you can all get together with each other, each other, you talk about your other projects, and basically connect for a lifetime of interesting things that you're going to be doing in the future. Okay, so connect with each other on LinkedIn, exchange email addresses, keep that network going, because by the time you would have survived this entire thing from all the 27 quests, you would actually feel a real sense of power. I can guarantee, okay, if you've actually given your all to this, by the time you complete the mouse, you will feel a sense of power. Meaning that you'll be able to say that, well, you know what, is this a problem? It's just a matter of time. So I used to know a friend, and one of my friends, she was a musician. And when we used to go to concerts, classical music concerts, and so some of these pieces were really nice. And she always used to say, that's so beautiful, I can listen to it any number of times. But it's only a matter of time. It's if you're a professional musician, I guess that's how you think about it. Or not professional, if you're a musician. It's a matter of time, because it's just practice to know which notes or when, how accentuated when, or something like that, some musical jargon. Maybe Dylan understands these things, okay? It's just a matter of time and practice, okay? After a while, you get it. So she understands that. And so that's what makes it all the more enjoyable for her, I think, right? So, and it's just like that for computer science too, I think, okay? It's just a matter of practice. You got to be at it. So if you've actually done this entire sequence like that, at the end of the last thing, you would be like totally set like a pro. Okay, you can, even if it's AWS, new technologies and stuff like that, you can just read the documentation on Google, okay, and you'll know what the hell is going on, because you know what you want from it. That's the thing with companies too, right? So once when you decide there's going to be a transaction, if you know what you want, then everything is fine, right? Most of the people go on transactions not even knowing what the hell they want. It's just like they live their lives, right? I don't know what I want and I'm out of my life. I just want to live, right? So, but if you know what you want, everything is so simple, because then you can just forget about irrelevant shit. Yes. And I think that's basically what happens. So when and so you'll know, this is what I need to build it, right? And these are the skills I need, and this is exactly where I need to fill in the gaps. And it'll take me X amount of time to learn it, but I can actually hire Tom, right? Who I used to work with, in my CS2C class, right? Or we can get together and do this thing. So all of these things you'll be able to identify and gel with each other, because now you help each other out. You have a very strong sense of who is strong where and how they could fill in and so on and so forth. So later on, when you want to do something, you could say, hey, how about this, right? Okay, so there's so much programming, can you split it up like that, and so on and so forth. You can develop kick-ass products, okay? And everything else is really cheap, right? And being commoditized. So AI is being commoditized, speech, all of the services, AWS cloud, everything is going to be, a matter of just paying for it, even if it's AR experiences, VR experiences. It's just a matter of just paying for it, and you'll get it because you can build it. And all of that is going to be possible and easy, right? But that's the thing, it'll be easy because all the evolving technology will make it so that if you want to integrate something, as long as you know how to do it and you can describe your vision clearly, right? Like a CEO who sees a final product, there's something that'll execute it for you. It doesn't have to be messy humans anymore. Yeah. So that's a dream world where, that's towards which we're going. And so I think it'll put you in that position. And I think it's really good to be there, right? Regardless of where you go. Maybe you go to Harvard, Stanford, UCSB, wherever it is, right? Afterwards, and you can do all these courses, but you'll be able to do all that with, the knowledge of this thing, which I don't know if many other students I've seen, they've come into this class with A pluses and gold and in the USACO and I don't know with the USMO and things like that. Okay, but maybe it's a different kind of skill set, I think, right? You have to learn to pay attention to the detail. That is where the real programming is, and the detail only becomes visible to people that are total experts in the field, right? Because everybody else just glosses over things. But a true expert, an artist, will actually know. All right, no, that is the wrong shade of pink to use there, right? That is the wrong semitone. All of those things, or the wrong shape. So those things will only matter to experts, and so you get to be there, right? All right. So anyway, so I wanted to recognize both of them, and if you guys want after the final, and if you guys are interested, I would happily host a party. One of the pizza joints. There's many around here in Centerville. Just pick one. All of you guys, maybe Reddit or something, and get together after the final or the day after the final, and I'll show up there and I'll have them charge my card. Okay. All right, but that's all, there's a lot more to go. You only finished your midterm. And just managed to finish quest 6. Okay, so that's what got me quest 5. That's what got me quite antsy, because saying that there are a bunch of good performers who are likely to drop out or fall behind. Once you fall behind, it's very hard. Okay, so just stay ahead. I think 1 or 2 ahead, I think actually helps, right? Dylan, I think is the right. I've been doing everything with the at the right pace, and not too fast like Oliver and Christopher, but enough time to enjoy things and distill everything that you can out of it before moving on. So yeah, I think that's a good pace. Not because if you do it too slow, then you get stuck and it's jerky like a car, right? You can press the accelerator at the wrong times. All right. Okay. That's all. I just stopped by to congratulate Oliver and Chris, and then ended up with a spiel about why you guys are not doing a good job or good. Actually, you are doing a good job. Okay, because I was just starting to get anxious. They're saying, well, there's some good performance here, and they look like they're slipping back. If you lose your interest, yeah, they look like they're losing interest in the subject because they're just coming to it once in a while. So I need to pull them back in. Okay, so stay on top of that. Thank you. Right. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer. Keep the Reddit flowing. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Svetan. Yeah.
I remember a couple of classes ago, if I remember correctly, there's an opportunity to do test corrections for the midterm. Is that right? Or
Yeah. The answers were available for 1 day, I think, yesterday. Yeah. So maybe I can, but you have to, if you think about the question and just send me a paragraph, or don't try to recover all 20 points, but pick the most salient ones that you think that, well, you know what, that's a really silly mistake, and so on and so forth. Pick a bunch of those and
Okay.
send it to me saying, yeah, and I'm happy with the explanation. I'll go and reinstate the points. I think it was fun, wasn't it? Some of you emailed me questions about the midterm, yeah, and it was fun, and Saya sent me some notes as well, and I hope I answered all your questions, Saya. Yeah, did I answer your question? Yeah, very nice. I like those questions. Yeah, many of those questions actually come from Michael, and you would have recognized also because some of the questions actually allude to the modules too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've tried so many times to replace them or even flood it with more questions from me and so on and so forth. But eventually, when you prune the bank and so on and so forth, you tend to keep the best ones around, and most of those questions are from him. Very nice, yeah, enjoyable, wasn't it? The midterm was enjoyable, wasn't it? Because it was thought-provoking. You see, you tend to pick up an answer and you say, well, how many of these things could happen? 1, 2, 3, and so all of those things are thought-provoking rather than saying, toss a die and say, here's the answer. All right. Shouldn't take up any more time. I'm pretty sure you have questions to ask each other. So thank you all. Okay. Bye.
hey, what did you think of the quest?
I
Quest
think it was
5?
pretty killer. There's like a lot of steps in the module, and you just have to like implement it and then think about it. And it wasn't that bad. I don't know. Maybe other people had other ideas.
Yeah, I thought the same. There was the modules were really helpful.
That's what I was thinking too. He kind of had it all spelled out for you. Just had to figure out how to put it in.
Are you talking about Sp23?
Yeah.
Yo, do you know why like a Sp23 would be like average and log n, even though like you're kind of just like picking stuff randomly?
Is it only
'Cause it's
updates once you access the node, right? So
Yeah.
before updating the node to the root, technically it's still like n log n if it's like a
Yeah.
random access.
It just seems like it'd be imbalanced if you like pick things like, you know, a suboptimal
Wait, did you
order
say n log n or log n?
and log n
N log n.
or log n.
I think
Sorry.
it's log n.
Yeah.
This is a binary search tree.
'Cause just
Login
like
would be the, sorry.
But I was just saying it's entirely like based on like what you like, it's just displaying around the values that you search for. So it seems like it could be imbalanced, but I guess like average it's like balanced.
I was going to say that it depends on if it's the best case or the worst case, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because if we're talking about like log n, we're probably just talking about big O, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there was a similar question on the midterm about the runtime. I believe it was AVL makes it strictly bound to log n versus n log n, or O of n actually.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I think the difference was if it's AVL, then it's like necessarily less than or equal to log n. And the other one is just the amortized, so it's not guaranteed. And there's a worst case scenario where it's longer, or in the case of splitting, it could be instant as well.
What do you guys think about the midterm? How's that for you guys?
Thought it was pretty basic. Like it wasn't too hard because most of the questions were in low chest modules. Like pretty direct.
Yeah.
I thought it was straightforward. Few small mistakes, silly mistakes, I would say, but apart from that, it's pretty straightforward, I feel.
Yeah, I think a lot of the information, like some of it was on the practice too, so it was nice. Like the resize or the reserve function, we were exposed to that in the practice. That was nice too. I feel like it was a lot easier than the 2B midterm. This was definitely easier.
Yeah, I felt the 2B midterm had a lot of like weird wordings. Like
Yeah, it
that
was
would
way
kind
more
of confuse
tricky.
you.
I never took 2B.
You mean from any professor? So you
No,
just
I-
jump straight to 2C?
Oh, I just registered for 2C. I already graduated bachelor's, so I'm just doing the course for a refresher.
Oh, pretty cool. Nice.
How many trophies were possible for this?
I got like 25, I think. I don't remember.
I think I got something like 23. There's 2 I think was missing. I don't know why. They never tested my splay find. And there's no memory leak either. I'm kind of puzzled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
I also got
last two
23.
last two trophies were like it said big splay or something or splay large.
Splay large.
So it's
Basically,
probably
the
the
large.
time complexity, right? I mean time runtime.
Yeah, I got 25 on that one.
How's everyone's midterm? Seems like everyone's like busy with like midterm and then just finished the Sp23, so we don't look. It doesn't seem like we have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I just finished Quest 7. It took me way longer than I expected it to.
Mm,
I think the spec was just too vague for me to understand what it was asking. But then once I figured it out, I was sad at how long it took me.
yeah, I think like the later requests, some can be like very confusing, especially you're not getting any output messages.
Yeah, yeah. I had something stupid. Like my issue was the first roadblock I hit was that the one quest is like just do a sorting algorithm. And it doesn't say in the spec that it still has to beat a minimum time requirement. So I did a bubble sort and I wasn't passing the test. And I was like, what? And so I changed it to a merge sort and it passed.
Yeah.
And so then everything started passing. But I was just like,
Yeah, but before that, you didn't get any error message, right?
yeah, no, exactly. So I was just like, well, I hope this works. But yeah, so like little things like that aren't necessarily in the spec that you have to learn the hard way.
I
If you're,
remember that happening, and it was so frustrating because
yeah,
normally we would get like something went wrong or whatever, but for that, I mean, like one of those later quests, I only got like, whenever I got something right, and then if I didn't, it just didn't show anything.
yeah, it's tough. A lot of verifying, like if I got everything when I was trying to dog it. So when I was trying to dog it.
Wait, yo, I thought you couldn't use merge sort for that one because like it said you couldn't allocate extra memory or something for the at least the entry thing.
I thought it was a merge sort. Let me check.
Yeah, but to be honest, I feel like as long as you can pass it, right? I think I actually used that like the STO sort just to verify that I could test
Wait,
it.
what?
I could pass it,
He said he's not going to check if you use the STL sort, but that you
he
shouldn't.
he literally said that, so I just
Yeah.
used and then just to verify,
No, I used the merge sort. I didn't use a heap sort. I used merge sort.
I
I'm
see.
sorry. No, I used the shell sort. There's too many sorts. I used the shell
Yeah.
sort.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
You're right. Yeah, you can't allocate any extra memory. So I believe actually I think insertion might be too slow for it too. So I think shell might be the minimum you can do.
Shoots.
Definitely not a bubble sort, or else it just won't. The test just won't pass at all.
Sure.
I have a question about the final report. So how much participation is enough participation? Like on the red form?
Last quarter it was
I
like
think a minimum
12.
12. Yeah.
12. 12 karma, 12 posts.
I think 12 posts plus comments, like combined.
12 helpful interactions of like you asking for help or you giving help.
I see.
But if it's like a very short comment, does that count?
I had some pretty short ones last quarter and I didn't lose points, I don't think. So I think as
Okay.
long as it does the job, right?
Yeah, as long as it's helpful, right? Yeah, that
Honestly,
makes sense.
I don't think he checks it that much. So if you can take something that you wrote and spin it and make it look like you really were helping with that conversation, it'll probably be fine. Just make it look professional.
Oliver, it was you who got the award, right?
Oh yeah.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was just. I think it's just because I finished that quest a bit earlier. But you guys are all doing great. To be
Thank you.
honest, yeah. Yeah, I feel like this class has been like one of the more engaging ones, because like people are actually like discussing, even though we're kind of like forced, but at least people are trying. Yeah.
How were previous quarters like CS2B and others?
Yeah, so I took 2B with TriFan. It's also like a online asynchronous class, and for that class, we were just kind of like doing our own stuff, and we didn't really have a lot of discussion or participation. We were just like submitting our projects on term finals, and then I remember there were only like 4 projects I scored for my 2B, which is actually I kind of hope they could have more because I would be able to like learn more stuff by
How many other sections of CS2C are there this quarter?
I think this quarter was just
Action?
Oh,
this one.
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, this wouldn't have been my top choice given the rate my professor ratings. But it ended up like I ended up enjoying it. So sometimes it's not accurate.
By any chance, have you also taken computer architecture?
I have not, but I really want to take that.
Do you have reordered for
Oh,
CS architecture? Yeah.
oh, I'm not even taking that class. I'm actually not really a Phil student. I'm just taking
Oh,
courses
okay.
here.
Yeah, I took it. Yeah.
Oh,
Bye, Dylan.
there's yeah.
Dylan's
Oh,
Dylan's taking off.
yeah. I was also going to say, if there's nothing more to discuss,
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
so yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna prepare my midterm. See ya.